Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro has issued a fervent call for civilians, reservists, and militia members to actively participate in nationwide military training, urging them to learn how to shoot in the name of national defense. This directive signifies a dramatic escalation in Venezuela's readiness posture, coming amidst severely heightened tensions with the United States. The drills, spanning an impressive 312 barracks across the nations, are a direct manifestation of the recently rolled out Plan Independencia 200, a comprehensive strategy aimed at fortifying Venezuela's military capabilities and preparing its population for potential external aggression. This extensive mobilization underscores Caracas' perception of an imminent threat from Washington, a perception fueled by a series of aggressive U.S. actions, including the deployment of warships, fighter jets, and even a nuclear submarine near Venezuelan's water. The ongoing standoff, exacerbated by U.S. accusations of Maduro's alleged ties to drug trafficking and a substantial bounty placed on his capture, has pushed relations between the two nations to a critical breaking point, creating a volatile situation with potentially far-reaching regional implications. President Maduro's call to arms is not merely a symbolic gesture. It is a clear attempt to galvanize the civilian population and integrate them more directly into the nation's defense apparatus. The explicit instruction to learn how to shoot indicates a move toward a more militarized society, where citizens are expected to be prepared for active combat roles alongside regular forces. This strategy aligns with the broader concepts of people's war, a doctrine often adopted by nations facing a significantly more powerful adversary, aiming to make any invasion prohibitively costly through widespread popular resistance. By involving civilians and militia members in these extensive drills, Maduro seeks to demonstrate a unified national resolve and deter potential aggressors by showcasing a deeply entrenched and widely distributed defensive capability. The participation across 312 barracks highlights the scale and national scope of this mobilization, demonstrating a commitment to preparing every region for potential conflict. The Plan Independencia 200, under which these drills are being conducted, is a testament to Venezuela's long-term strategy for national defense and sovereignty. The 200 in its title likely alludes to historical milestone or forward-looking vision for the nation's independence, anchoring the current military efforts in a narrative of historical struggle against foreign intervention. This plan likely encompasses not just military training, but also strategic resource allocation, infrastructure protection, and civil defense measures designed to ensure the nation's resilience in the face of external pressure. Its implementation suggests a coordinated and comprehensive approach to national security, moving beyond mere rhetoric to concrete preparations. The emphasis on independence underscores Venezuela's rejection of perceived U.S. hegemony and its determination to chart its own course on the international stage. The immediate trigger for this intensified military posture is the severe escalation of tensions with the United States. Washington's deployment of significant military asset, warship, fighter jets, and a nuclear submarine near Venezuelan waters constitute a highly provocative act from Caracas' perspective. Such deployment are typically understood as a show of force designed to project power, gather intelligence, and potentially signal readiness for military intervention. For Venezuela, these actions are not abstract threats but tangible manifestation of U.S. hostility, justifying the urgent need for heightened national defense. The presence of a nuclear submarine in particular sends a powerful message about the scale of U.S. military capabilities and its willingness to operate in Venezuela's immediate vicinity, amplifying the sense of existential threat felt by the Maduro government. The backdrop to these military maneuvers is a deeply entrenched and multifaceted political and economic standoff between Venezuela and the United States. Washington has long been a vocal critic of the Maduro regime, accusing it of authoritarianism, human rights abuse, and undermining democratic institutions. A central tenet of U.S. policy has been to support opposition movement within Venezuela and to exert maximum pressure on Maduro to step down. This pressure has included a crippling sanctions regime targeting Venezuela's vital oil industry, key government officials, and financial institutions, which has had a devastating impact on the Venezuelan economy and exacerbated a severe humanitarian crisis within the country. From Caracas' perspective, these sanctions are an act of economic warfare designed to destabilize the government and foment unrest. A particularly damaging accusation leveled by Washington against President Maduro and his inner circle is their alleged involvement in drug trafficking through a network referred to as the Cartel of the Suns. This term used by U.S. authorities describes a perpetuated network of high-ranking Venezuelan military and government officials who allegedly facilitate drug shipments, primarily cocaine, through Venezuela. The U.S. Department of Justice has brought indictment against Maduro and several other top officials, accusing them of narco-terrorism and conspiracy to import cocaine to the United States. These accusations are not merely diplomatic rhetoric. They carry significant legal weight and have led to the placement of substantial $50 million bounty on Maduro's capture. This bounty, unprecedented for a sitting head of state, transformed Maduro from a political adversary into a wanted criminal in the eyes of the U.S. legal system, further escalating the standoff and making any diplomatic resolution exceptionally challenging. For Venezuela, the bounty on Maduro's head is perceived as an outrageous affront to national sovereignty and a direct threat to the country's leadership. It is seen as an attempt to destabilize the government through extra-legal means, potentially encouraging mercenary activity or internal plots for his capture. This action reinforces the Venezuelan government's narrative that the U.S. is actively seeking regime change through any means necessary, including covert operations and direct military intervention. The bounty therefore becomes a powerful rallying cry for national unity and resistance against what is portrayed as foreign aggression and an attack on national dignity. It provides a concrete justification for the widespread military drills and the calls for civilian participation in national defense. The military drills themselves are likely multifaceted, encompassing a range of exercises designed to prepare for various scenarios. These could include anti-air defense drill, coastal defense operation, urban warfare simulation, and irregular warfare tactics. By involving reservists and militia members, Venezuela aims to expand its combat-ready personnel beyond the regular armed force, creating a broader base of resistance. The training would focus on basic combat skills, weapon handling, first aid, and potentially specialized tactics like guerrilla warfare, which would be crucial if a conventional defense proved insufficient against a technologically superior adversary. The psychological impact of these drills, both domestically and internationally, is also significant. Internally, they aim to foster a sense of patriotism and readiness, while externally, they seek to project an image of a nation united and prepared to defend itself at all costs. The implications of this escalating tensions are profound for regional stability. Venezuela borders several South American nations, including Colombia and Brazil, both of which have complex relationships with Caracas and varying degrees of alignment with U.S. foreign policy. Any military confrontation between Venezuela and the U.S. could easily spill over, destabilizing the entire region. The humanitarian crisis in Venezuela, already severe due to economic collapse and political turmoil, would undoubtedly worsen dramatically in the event of conflict, leading to further mass displacement and refugee flows across borders. The potential disruption to global oil markets, given Venezuela's vast reserve, would also be a significant concern for the international community. The United States strategy in Venezuela has often been criticized for its inability to dislodge Maduro and for contributing to the humanitarian suffering of the Venezuelan people. The current aggressive stance, including military deployment and a bounty on the president, risk further entrenching Maduro's position by allowing him to rally nationalist sentiment against a perceived foreign threat. It also raises the specter of a direct military confrontation, a scenario that analysts warn could have catastrophic consequences for all involved parties and the broader region. The U.S. has historically stated that all options are on the table regarding Venezuela, a phrase often interpreted as including military intervention. However, the practicalities and ethical considerations of such an intervention are immense. From Venezuela's perspective, the current situation is framed as a struggle for national sovereignty against imperialistic aggression. Maduro consistently portrays himself as the defender of Hugo Chávez's socialist revolution and the inheritor of a legacy of anti-US defense. The military drills and calls for popular defense are therefore presented as acts of legitimate self-defense against a foreign power attempting to undermine Venezuela's self-determination. This narrative resonates with a significant portion of the Venezuelan population, particularly those who remain loyal to the ruling party and are wary of U.S. interventionism, given historical precedent in Latin America. The international community watches this standoff with increasing concern. While many nations share U.S. concerns about the state of democracy and human rights in Venezuela, few support direct military intervention. The deployment of U.S. military assets and the bounty on Maduro have been met with unease by some allies who fear that such aggressive tactics could backfire and lead to unattended consequences. Calls for diplomatic solutions and de-escalations are frequent, but the deep-seated mistrust and maximalist positions of both Caracas and Washington make such effort exceedingly difficult. In conclusion, Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro's call for nationwide military training, urging civilians, reservists, and militia members to learn how to shoot marks a critical phase in the escalating tensions with the United States. The drills enacted under Plan Independencia 200 across 312 barracks are a direct response to aggressive U.S. military deployment near Venezuelan waters, including warships, fighter jets, and a nuclear submarine. This heightened state of readiness is further fueled by Washington's accusation of Maduro's ties to drug trafficking through the Cartel of the Suns and the unprecedented $50 million bounty placed on his capture. This volatile standoff has pushed relations between the two nations to a breaking point, signaling Venezuela's determination to defend its sovereignty against perceived U.S. aggression and raising serious concerns about regional stability and the potential for direct conflict. That's all for me for today. If you like the video presentation and you would like to follow for more, hit that subscribe and like button now, and we will continue to build this show for you. Thank you to all of you guys who have subscribed. It means a lot to me. Thank you so much. I will see you soon. Bye for now.